Maya stared at the baby as thunder shook the hospital windows. Same gray eyes. Same birthmark behind the ear. Same face Emily had before she died. Her pulse spiked instantly. "What did you do?" she whispered. Nobody answered. The doctor looked down. A nurse backed toward the door. Then Daniel Whitmore finally stepped closer to the child and said something that made Maya's stomach turn cold. "She's stronger than we expected." Maya looked at him in disbelief. "She?" Daniel ignored the question. Instead, he pulled a photograph from his coat and placed it beside Maya on the bed. A little girl smiling beside him. Gray eyes. Same birthmark. Maya felt the air leave her lungs. "Your daughter," she whispered. Daniel nodded once. "She died 8 years ago." Maya looked back at the newborn across the room. Then back at the photo. Her breathing became uneven. "No." One doctor suddenly interrupted. "Mr. Whitmore, this conversation shouldn't happen right now." Daniel never looked away from Maya. "You were chosen for a reason." Those words hit harder than anything else. Every strange moment during the pregnancy came rushing back. The secret blood tests, the locked medical files, the injections they never explained, the nights she woke up dizzy. This had been planned from the beginning. Maya slowly shook her head. "What was implanted inside me?" Silence. Then the nurse near the wall started crying. Quietly at first. "Tell her," she whispered. Nobody moved. Finally, Daniel spoke. The embryo contained preserved genetic material. Maya's eyes widened instantly. "You cloned your daughter?" "No," the doctor snapped. "Not exactly." But Maya already understood enough. She ripped the monitor wires from her chest and tried standing. Pain shot through her body, but fear pushed her forward. "I'm leaving." The hospital door opened immediately. 2 security guards stepped inside. Maya froze. Security. Inside maternity. That was all she needed to see. This was bigger than a surrogacy agreement. Bigger than one hospital. Bigger than Daniel Whitmore. Then the crying nurse looked directly at Maya and whispered the sentence that destroyed everything. "The baby shares your DNA too." Silence swallowed the room. Maya stared at the newborn again while her entire world collapsed in real time. Before we dive deeper, let us know in the comments where you're watching from. We'd love to hear from you. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss any of our upcoming videos. The baby shares your D.N.A. too. Maya froze. Every instinct from her years as a nurse told her the same thing. This was impossible. She looked at Daniel Whitmore. "What did you do?" Daniel never blinked. "You were chosen very carefully." Maya's stomach tightened instantly. Chosen. Not hired. Not matched. Chosen. Suddenly, every strange moment from the past year snapped together. The aggressive medical testing. The endless questions about Emily. The classified pages inside the contract. Even the interviews felt wrong now. They barely asked about surrogacy. They asked about her daughter, her genetics, her medical records, her birthmark. Maya looked back at the newborn. Same gray eyes, same mark behind the ear, same blood. "You knew about Emily before you contacted me," she said. Daniel stayed silent. That was enough. One doctor stepped forward nervously. "Mr. Whitmore, we should stop." Daniel ignored him completely. "Most people lose someone and move on," he said quietly. "I refuse to." Maya felt fear crawl through her chest. Then she remembered the article she found months earlier about Whitmore Biogenics funding illegal genetic research. The story disappeared within days. At the time, she thought it was a conspiracy theory. Now she wasn't so sure. "What is that child?" Maya whispered. Nobody answered immediately. Then the nurse near the wall broke down, crying again. This should never have happened. Daniel finally reached into his coat and handed Maya a document. Her hands shook as she looked down at it. Confidential research authorization. Date, 8 years earlier. Then she saw the name underneath. Emily Carter. Maya stopped breathing for a second. This didn't begin with her pregnancy. It began with her daughter. 8 years earlier, Maya Carter lost everything in a single night. A drunk driver hit her car during a snowstorm in Chicago. Maya survived. Her daughter Emily didn't. After that, her life collapsed fast. Medical bills piled up. Debt collectors called non-stop. Her marriage ended within a year. By 39, Maya lived alone in a small apartment surrounded by overdue notices and photographs she could barely look at anymore. Then the offer appeared. Private surrogacy opportunity. Compensation, $2 million. The company behind it was Whitmore Biogenics, owned by billionaire Daniel Whitmore. Maya almost ignored it until she saw the amount. $2 million could erase every debt she had left. The interviews started immediately. But something felt wrong from the beginning. The recruiters barely discussed surrogacy. Instead, they focused on Emily, her genetics, her appearance, her medical history. One doctor asked about rare conditions inside Maya's family. Another spent an hour discussing psychological trauma. Then came the question Maya never forgot. Did your daughter inherit most of her features from you? Maya frowned instantly. Why does that matter? The recruiter smiled without answering. Mr. Whitmore prefers very specific compatibility profiles. Compatibility. Maya understood that word differently now. At the end of the final interview, the recruiter stopped beside the elevator and quietly said, "You're exactly what Mr. Whitmore has been searching for." Back then, Maya thought they meant a surrogate. She was wrong. Daniel Whitmore controlled one of the most powerful biotech companies in America. Whitmore Biogenics specialized in genetic research, experimental medicine, and private medical technology worth billions. After his wife and young daughter died years earlier, Daniel disappeared from public life and became obsessed with genetic preservation. Rumors about illegal research followed his company for years, but nothing was ever proven. Maya felt his control immediately after the pregnancy began. Daniel assigned private doctors, restricted where she could go, increased the NDA terms repeatedly. Some sections of the contract were completely blacked out. Every medical appointment happened inside Whitmore-owned facilities. Then things became stranger. Maya started waking up after unexplained sedation with fresh needle marks on her arm. Additional blood tests appeared in her records without consent. Whenever she asked questions, nobody gave direct answers. Daniel monitored everything personally. Then one night, Maya overheard 2 doctors arguing downstairs inside the residence. One sounded terrified. The other kept saying they were already committed. Then, Maya heard the sentence that changed everything. She still doesn't know what was implanted. Maya froze, because until that moment, she still believed she was carrying someone else's child. After overhearing the doctors, Maya started noticing things everywhere. Cameras in every hallway. Staff avoiding eye contact. Locked rooms she wasn't allowed near. Then the sedation started. Maya would wake up dizzy with needle marks on her arm and no memory of new procedures. Blood tests appeared in her records without consent. One afternoon, Maya caught technicians hiding paperwork during an exam. She only saw one line before they covered it. Subject compatibility. Successful. That night, Maya searched restricted files inside the residence. Most documents were blacked out, but one detail stood out instantly. The embryo timeline started before her implantation procedure. Someone had planned this long before she arrived. Then Maya overheard another conversation outside the office. If she finds out before delivery, Whitmore shuts everything down. We're already too deep. The next morning, a nurse pulled Maya aside during a checkup. She looked terrified. "You need to leave before delivery," she whispered. Then she walked away. Later that night, Maya entered Daniel Whitmore's private office while he was gone. Inside a locked cabinet, she found an old photograph. Maya froze instantly. A little girl standing beside Daniel Whitmore. Gray eyes. Crescent-shaped birthmark. Same face as Emily. The storm hit just after midnight. Rain hammered the hospital windows as Maya went into labor weeks early. Almost immediately, panic spread through the maternity wing. Doctors rushed in and out without explanation. Nurses whispered outside the room. One physician kept saying the timing was wrong. Then the power suddenly cut out. Total darkness for 3 seconds. When the backup generators kicked in, Maya saw fear on every face around her, then shouting erupted outside the delivery room. "He wasn't supposed to be here tonight. We can't stop him now." Seconds later, the doors opened. Daniel Whitmore walked in soaked from the rain. Calm. Silent. Untouchable. Nobody questioned him. The contractions intensified. Machines started beeping faster. Doctors crowded around the bed. Then the baby cried. The room froze instantly. Maya looked up as the nurse lifted the newborn. Same gray eyes, same crescent-shaped birthmark behind the ear. Then Maya saw the baby's left hand curl inward slightly. Emily had the same rare condition at birth. Maya felt the blood drain from her face. "This isn't possible," nobody answered. One nurse started crying. Another looked away. Daniel Whitmore stepped closer to the child without saying a word. And in that moment, Maya realized this pregnancy had never been about money. The morning after the delivery, Maya disappeared before Daniel Whitmore's security team could reach her. She escaped with stolen DNA files and one name hidden inside the records: Dr. Ethan Reeves, former Whitmore biogenics researcher. Maya found him hiding in a motel outside Cleveland. The second Ethan saw the files, he panicked. "You need to burn those." Maya stepped closer. "Tell me what Daniel did." Ethan stayed silent for a moment. Then he opened a laptop and played a recording. Subject compatibility confirmed. Proceed with reconstruction phase. Maya felt her stomach drop instantly. Ethan pulled up another file. Project Eve. Genetic continuation trial. Beneath it sat embryo reports, payment records, and sealed laboratory authorizations signed directly by Daniel Whitmore. At first, Maya thought one word immediately: cloning. Ethan shook his head. Worse. Maya kept reading. Preserved DNA. Trait reconstruction. Neurological matching. Then she saw her own name beside Daniel's late wife inside the research files. Maya froze. She was never randomly selected. The interviews. Emily's medical records. The genetic questions. Every part of it had been planned from the beginning. Then Ethan revealed something else. The embryo carried more than DNA. Maya looked up slowly. Ethan hesitated before answering. They were trying to reconstruct memory patterns, too. Silence filled the room. For the first time, Maya realized this experiment had never been about creating a child. Ethan opened one final file. Private recordings from Whitmore Biogenics Laboratories. Then Daniel Whitmore's voice filled the room. Begin integration using preserved pediatric samples. Maya went cold instantly. Ethan looked at her. The embryo implanted into you was modified using genetic material from Daniel's daughter before she died. Maya froze. The gray eyes, the birthmark, the nerve condition. Every trait had been engineered before the pregnancy began. Then another recording played. Daniel sounded calm, focused. I wasn't trying to replace my daughter's silence. I was trying to bring her back. Maya felt sick. Suddenly, the fear inside the hospital made sense. The doctors already knew the experiment had gone too far. Days later, federal agents raided Whitmore Biogenics facilities across the country. Classified embryo files leaked online. News coverage exploded. Former employees started talking. Lawsuits followed immediately. Doctors lost licenses. Protesters surrounded clinics tied to the research. And one question terrified everyone watching the case unfold. How many times had Daniel Whitmore already done this before Maya escaped? Within months, Daniel Whitmore's empire collapsed. Federal investigations shut down Whitmore Biogenics facilities across the country. Doctors involved in the experiment lost licenses and faced criminal charges. The hospital behind Maya's pregnancy came under investigation for unauthorized genetic procedures. The child was placed under state protection while courts fought over custody and identity. After the trial, Maya Carter disappeared completely. But one truth remained. Maya entered the agreement believing she was carrying someone else's child. In reality, she had been chosen long before she ever signed the contract. And after the headlines disappeared, one question refused to go away. If science gives people the power to recreate the past, who decides where the line should be drawn? If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more shocking true stories every week.